Yes, sir.
Okay. You would bow and pray with me. Father God, thank you for getting us here safely today. Thank you in particular for your hand on our first responders, our public works folks, dispatchers who have been working diligently and faithfully. And we really appreciate them. Protect not only them but their families. And I know that we all appreciate the love that we leave behind and come out from the We are very thankful to have come together tonight to take care of people's business. We will take care of that as quickly and efficiently as we can. All these folks we have in semi-trucks and cars and trucks that are injured and competing and traveling, Father, just protect us. Calm anxiety, be with us and guide us. Bless everything we do and say. Bless the name of Jesus we pray these things. And we all God's people said, Amen. All right, you would turn to the flag. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shelley, can you hear okay? Okay. All right, board. We'll appreciate you getting out on a night like tonight. We've got 2 or 3 very important things. A lot of this will push on through to our next meeting agenda. But I've called us to order. An invocation and pledge. Old business. Would like a, let's see. Really, Chief, we've got the 2 chiefs. Would y'all like to make very brief comments to the board while we've got them, please, concerning where we are? And you don't have to belabor it a whole lot so we can get people home on time, but just where we are and incidents. Give us a quick summary of where we're going to be tonight and into tomorrow.
Since this began Sunday, we've experienced, as we were pulling up here, that was our 15th 18-wheeler incident on the interstate. Most of it is eastbound between the 5.6 and the 5.9. We are running almost 2 full shifts, plus all investigators, myself, and administration, so 20 officers are on shift right now. Tonight we're expecting all the work that we did today, that some of the halfway clear roads you see, they're going to freeze back over. That's going to happen. But just, if anybody tells you those people are unmotivated, don't believe it. They have been here. They've been begging to come in. I'm having trouble making some of them go home. So see one of them, tell them thank you.
Thank you. And board, understand there were 2 dispatchers and 2 detectives that slept in the station last night because they understand the importance of communications in events like this. So, Chief, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, board. We've been steady, not extremely busy, so we're keeping our fire trucks in the station as much as possible. Try to save them until we absolutely have to get out. We're running in squads and forward drive pickup trucks as much as possible, trying to support the police and the water department with anything we can help with. And we're keeping 2 chiefs on duties. We got a whole shift on call at any given moment, and just doing the best we can, trying to support the city.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your service. Charles, why don't you just wait till you come up? You give us a heads up when we get to your section, since we're going to spend a little time with Public Works. All right? So, board, anything any of you would like to say at this time or anything? All right, we'll move on through the agenda. Miss Amy Davis is here tonight, and it's a good practice run for you, for Miss Angela. So we sent Miss Angela home because she lives a little bit further away than just the city, so we didn't want her traveling after dark. So Miss Amy, thank you for coming in this evening.
No problem.
And if you would, we'll just work through all 5 of those at the same time.
Okay.
Yes. Well, we can't do that. We've got some discussion. We've got a major decision about a water line that the board, I'm gonna bring the board into, so we can't just blanket. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Harry. I'm sorry. Yeah. The board minutes. All right. Thank you, Harry. Need to approve the regular board meeting minutes of February 1st, 2021. Motion by Ms. Monica Corley, second by Mr. Harry Williams. Any comment or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. James, good. And thank you. And for those in the audience, James Morris is on the telephone with us. Thank you, Harry. Keep me on the right path. All right, Miss Amy. Those five, all five, please.
Consideration to accept the quote from Rankin County for the use of voting equipment in the 2021 municipal elections. Accept the letter from Rankin Democrats dated February 8, 2001, declaring Vicki Palmer Jones as a nominee for Alderman Ward 1 race in the general election in accordance with Municipal Code 23-15-309, subsection 5. Consideration to approve an agreement to extend the terms and conditions of the Cole Entertainment Services stagehand agreement and authorize the mayor to execute the same. Consideration to approve an agreement to extend the term and conditions of the Justice LLC agreement and authorize the mayor to execute the same. Consideration to approve the docket of claims for February 17th, 2021.
Thank you, Miss Amy. All right, Board, is there a motion to approve those? Motion by Mr. Chris Vinson. Second by Ms. Monica Corley. Any questions on those five items? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, James. Board would like to, Charles, you already walked up, you stay there. On item number 6 on the agenda, we're going to open this public hearing because we've advertised it, and then we're going to recess the public hearing and continue that on March 1st at our next regularly scheduled meeting. So, Mr. Baker, we need a motion to open that public hearing. Is that correct?
Well, Mr. Mayor, the public hearing has been called.
Yep.
All right, the public hearing is now open with regard to the application of Betty and Thin with regard to parcel J865, seeking a conditional use. Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that the public hearing not be closed, but rather that the matter of the public hearing be recessed until March 1, 2021 during the regular board meeting wherein the matter will be considered and then closed, and then action will be taken by the board.
You want board action to do that?
We do need to recess.
All right. So, pardon me?
Motion to recess?
Yes. All right, we got a motion to recess by Mr. Lou Coker, second by Ms. Talia Dobbs. Any questions, board members? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right, Charles, now we're to Public Works, and we're going to have to talk about a couple of things on yours right quick. Go ahead.
Board, if you don't mind, I'll give you a quick update of what we've been doing since Saturday morning. We did stage people at the shop. We've had people that have been there since Saturday morning. They've slept at the shop because we've had to address some issues every 3 to 4 hours. Had a good volunteer turnout. All in all, everyone's been safe. We've been able to keep the roads as safe and passable as we reasonably can. A couple of things that are better than the last time have been 471 Bridge. We've learned some things in 2017 that helped us this year. The county's been a big help. Highway 80, other than a few instances from city limits of Brandon to the city limits of Brandon, have been passable. So got a little better today. It is going to freeze back up tonight. We have thrown a lot of salt out. We've put out more salt since Saturday than we've put out since 2016 combined. So we're staying after it, and hopefully we're going to get a little help from the weather tomorrow, and things will get a little bit better.
Thank you, Charles. All right, we're going to move on to the agenda. Charles, I'd like you to go 1 through 7, please, Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Item 1 is consideration to approve work performed by Hempfield Construction utilizing commodity pricing and authorize payment of the same as follows. Sewer service repair at 110 High Street in the amount of $6,885.67. Sewer repair at 207 Martin Road in the amount of $7,275.96. and raise existing manholes and cross gates in the amount of $16,316.72. Item 3 is consideration to approve, I apologize, Mayor, I skipped item 2. Item 2 is consideration to approve the professional service agreement with Cleo's Asphalt Paving Incorporated to provide labor and equipment for asphalt paving and repair services at rates pursuant to the memo and authorize the mayor to execute any related documents. Item 3 is consideration to approve Suncoast Infrastructure Pay Request Number 5 in the amount of $134,100 with regard to the 2020 sewer rehabilitation project and authorize payment of the same. Item 4 is consideration to approve Landmark Structures Pay Request Number 16 in the amount of $3,562.50 with regard to the elevated water tanks project, Burnham Road and North Street, and authorize payment of the same. Item 5 is consideration to approve Landmark Structures Change Order Request Number 3, increasing the contract $6,058, and Change Order Number 4, extending the contract time 75 days with regard to the elevated water tanks project, North Street, and authorize the mayor to execute the same. That change order extending time will not change our plans to put that tank online at the end of this month. Item 6, consideration to approve KIPCO Incorporated Pay Request Number 2 in the amount of $61,417.50 with regard to the 2020 Waterline Improvement Project and authorize payment of the same. Item 7 is consideration to declare an emergency the water main repairs at 26 Crosswoods Road from WW Solutions in the amount of $10,890.87 and authorize payment of the same.
Thank you, Charles. All right, board, so we're going to vote on items 1 through 7 in Public Works. Is there a motion to approve those 7 items? Motion by Mr. James Morris, second by Mr. Harry Williams. Any further discussion?
Is the Burnham Road tank, is that everything left for paint? I mean, is that complete?
Yes, I mean, we got a little bit of cleanup work to do and one fence item. So that tank is functional. It has been functional for a couple of weeks now. It's doing well. Pressures are where we had hoped they'd be, even a little better. So,
Charles, I think where we were going with that question are our payouts. Are we done with the payouts on that portion of the project?
It's pretty much
yes,
paid except for retaining.
yes. I apologize, didn't quite understand the question.
Sure, that's okay. Any other questions? Okay, we got a motion second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right. Let's save number 8 for last.
Okay.
Note that Mr. Matthew Miller just walked in. Appreciate you coming in this evening, making that trek in. Before we take 9, 10, 11, and 12, board, it's my recommendation that we remove number 10 from consideration at this time, because I believe we're going to take action on number 8, and I believe we're going to need every nickel and dime and quarter in the water fund. So my recommendation is to remove 10. We'll hold up on that vote. Let's just take 9, 11, and 12 right now, Charles.
Okay. Item 9 is consideration to approve Puckett Power Systems to provide 2-hour load bank testing on city generators in the amount of $9,800 and authorize payment of the same. Item 11 is consideration to approve sidewalk replacement in areas of Cornerstone subdivision from NJ Farms at commodity pricing in the amount of $19,848.75 and authorize payment of the same. Item 12 is consideration to approve the additional cost of $72,609.78 with regard to the Entergy utility agreement for the relocation of power with regard to the East Metro Corridor project and authorize the mayor to execute related documents. That should be coming out of that East Metro project along with the other utility costs.
Thank you, Charles. And to remind you, board, we will be having a ribbon cutting, or groundbreaking rather, not a ribbon cutting, groundbreaking on March the 1st.
Yes.
At 11 a.m. at the end of Cross Gates Boulevard. All right. So on those 3 items, there a motion to approve those. That's 9, 11, and 12. Motion by Mr. Luke Coker. Second by Ms. Talia Dobbs. Any further discussion or question? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. All right, we're going to hold number 10 for the discussion on number 8. Now, Charles, you read that, and then I want to add-lib a little more information in here that we worked up, okay?
Item 8 is consideration to declare as an emergency the replacement of 3,000 feet of water line located in the area of Highway 80 and Woodgate, and authorize the purchase of labor, equipment, and supplies from Hempfield Construction and Southern Pipe and Supply at commodity bid pricing in the estimated amount of $260,000.
Thank you, Charles. All right, board. 2 or 3 sub-stories to this. So, I have the details that I went back and got on the 3 incidents that we've had on that water main that you've been made aware of. You were made aware of the first one. The date was Sunday morning, September the 20th. The alarm came in and we were having water problems at 3:54 a.m. in the morning on Sunday morning. That water line ruptured. It is cement pipe. The repair time was 11 hours and 30 minutes. So that repair was completed at 3:30 that afternoon. It was isolated and fixed, and really didn't have much of an impact on anybody in Cross Gates because everybody was asleep. So we were able to isolate it fairly quickly, and nobody really even knew there was a problem there. But that happened in September, is a point I'm trying to make to you. And I'll be glad to give you a copy of this for your records if you'd like. The second time that 10-inch water main failed was Tuesday, January the 19th. The alarm went off at 2:15 in the afternoon, nice, clear, almost a sunny day. Complete repair was made by 5:30 p.m., total repair time of 3 hours, 15 minutes. You could see it. We knew exactly where it was. We'd already been there one time. It was easy to cut off. Charles, you stop me if I'm mistaken.
We also had all the parts in place after the first repair.
Right.
We stocked exactly what we'd need, and we still have those parts stocked.
So, boy, where I'm going with this, there were 2 failures in that cement pipe. The third one, which happened on Tuesday, February the 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Now, the difference between all 3 of these is people had gone home, they were in their homes, bathtubs going on, showers, washing dishes, and everything else. And we had another eruption, which was really worse than the first 2. And then we caught a lot of heat that, that's the new pressure caused that to happen. Well, that's not true because there were 2 eruptions of that pipe before we ever started increasing the pressure from the new water tower. So that's a fallacy. Right. Don't fall into that trap believing that. I brought that pipe, examples of that in here in September. I showed it to you. It is degrading. It has a lifespan. Mr. Miller, if you would, you want to come up there and address the board when I say these things to make sure I'm not off base, since you're the engineer. That pipe has a 50-year lifespan. It's been in the ground 55 years. It is degrading quickly. It is going to continue to degrade. I intentionally put this off to tonight. I wanted to call an emergency board meeting last week and just talk about this one issue, but I deferred tonight to bring you into the discussion. It is my opinion that we need to move quickly. Now, the numbers that Charles just gave you were numbers where we have labor cost already on commodity pricing, and we have pipe already on commodity pricing. So we can say go tonight, and Charles can make the phone call, and they will get to work working on that. The commodity pricing of labor is from Hemphill. Or, this is where I'm going to get you to step in, Matthew, in just a second. Or we can pause. We can run the risk that there's going to be another eruption. We can create an engineer's plan of action. We can come in here and put it out for bid and open bids 3 weeks later. Then we can issue a notice to proceed 4 board meetings from now kind of thing. And it is conceivable we could save a few $1,000s. Board, my opinion is we need to get to work on this yesterday. So I've been had some sleepless nights worrying about this. I don't believe we need to wait. I believe we need to move and move now. So the question is, how do you pay for it? So I asked Charles and Angela to sit down today and go through our water accounts, our water, and we have enough money, barely, by pulling this truck off the agenda to make that dollar figure. If we don't, my recommendation is to you that we'll borrow some money out of the little gap loan, due from, out of the general fund to make up any monies. But to me, it's important enough, we just can't have the entire neighborhood of Cross Gates without water. And we did for a brief amount of time. I have personally been through one of those as a firefighter, no water, and a large fire situation. We don't need that. We don't need a hospital without water. We don't need a nursing home without water. We don't need one house without water. So for me, it is timely, aged, and we need to act. Now, Matthew, I'm going to ask you to speak to the condition of the pipe. You've been there. You've seen it 3 times. What are your thoughts on that cement pipe?
Yeah, I don't know that I can add much to what you've said, Mayor. I mean, that's the type of pipe that was put in back in the late 60s, early 70s, even some back in the early 60s, kind of went through a time frame there where it was real popular. Not used anymore, has a lifespan of approximately 50 years. We've reached that, past that. Research shows that once it starts failing, it begins to fail catastrophically, and that's what we've seen with that particular section, meaning that, you know, it's not you just get a crack here or crack there and a little bitty leak. Once it fails, it's a true failure, which is what we've seen there all 3 times. So, you know, it definitely, as the mayor has said, has the potential to continue to grow, those failures.
Matthew, isn't that pretty much a straight line? I mean, it's not a whole lot of engineering is going to need to go with that.
That's correct. You know, it's pretty much a straight line except for, I mean, you've got some obstacles in there if you were to engineer it. I mean, you got a spillway to cross that you got to bore underneath. You got a commercial business there west of Stonegate that you got to go up under, and then you need to turn north and go towards the hospital and replace a section in there. According to old plans, I've never put my hands on the plans for that line, but I put my hands on some of the old plans that tie to that line, and they show it being that same type of pipe, a couple hundred feet north going towards the hospital. So yes, it is a straight line running east and west parallel to 80. It does turn north going up to the hospital for some distance. I don't recall exactly how far.
Mr. Mayor, as part of the process, as part of the motion by the board, it should include a finding that following the customary bid process will cause delay injurious to the health, safety, and welfare of the citizenry, and that an emergency declaration is necessary and required to protect property, the citizens, and to provide essential services.
What we're here to do.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
do we have an assurance from this contractor that they will be able to start right away?
Charles?
Yes. We've already potholed along several locations to verify where it starts and where it stops.
Describe what pothole is, please.
Potholing is where you do a small excavation, primarily straight down, typically using a hydro vacuum excavator with minimal impact so that you can get down to it and actually visually look at that pipe and verify what's there. You also use that to avoid utilities. So we've already done some preliminary work to make sure that we are ready to go.
Yeah, we'll bore underneath that spillway either way. If we engineer they got to do it anyway. Mr. Liu asked, is there much engineering involved in it? And I was trying to explain to him, no, it's not. It is a straight run. It does turn and go north. There are some spots of that nature that you would have to indicate on your drawings if we were to engineer it and draw it up, such as the spillway. You would bore under it one way or the other. Is there a lot of engineering that goes into it? No, sir. You know, that's things that we put on waterline drawings each and every day. It'd just be a matter of time of putting those drawings together.
So is this going to come from a lot of enterprise fund? Is that what this money is going to come from?
Hey, how are you?
Yes.
You like these? I really don't like them.
That wasn't me.
Wasn't either.
All right, so enterprise fund, did you answer his question, Charles? You and Angela
Yes,
sat
it
down
would.
today and evaluated the money?
Yes, it would come out of the enterprise fund.
So either way, Harry, if we waited in time to develop a project and advertise and go through all those motions, you're still going to pay for it either way. So, yes, if you advertised it, you might save a little bit of money. For me, it's not worth the money. The risk outweighs saving a few $1,000s. I'm ready. My recommendation is get to work on it.
So we do it, I guess I'm asking my question, we do it on enterprise money, I mean, I guess I'm saying, we spent a bunch of money in the past year, fixing things, so.
Right. We are within the budget that we issued for this year. And at that budget, our expected available funds for 9/30/21 after West Rankin's moved is $826,702. And we're still within the budget numbers that we started with. So we would be at that number or better unless we had some sort of catastrophic issue that cost us to get outside of the budget that we started with.
Well, the mayor has suggested that we do not proceed on items number 10. Is there any other expenses that we have planned that we need to back off of?
We'll be evaluating that as we go forward. That was just an easy one to go ahead and scratch off the list. And I'm sure we'll have a few others. This item was not budgeted, so of course, we'll have to see what we can do to pull that back some. But either way, from a standpoint of cash balance, the cash balance is there, if that's the question you're asking.
This is also an upsize per recommendation of Mr. Miller. It is a 10-inch main, but we're going back with a 12. Matthew?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How many people does this affect, Mayor?
Mr. Baker asked how many people this affected. I'd say at least a fourth of the city's population.
Yeah, it's 2,600 houses, one hospital, one school, one kidney.
Three nursing homes.
3 nursing homes.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
All right. Got a motion by Mr. All right. So let me add to this for Mr. Baker in the record. You're going to make a motion to approve, Chris, and Lou, you're going to second, with the removal of 10 from the agenda and moving forward with 8 with commodity pricing for pipe and commodity labor with Hempfield to get started on that ASAP.
Yes.
That's an emergency fix going on, like it
Right.
Mr. Baker?
And I would like, if you could, in the memo, could you include the information about customers affected on failure, so we'll have that? Okay?
Yes.
In a minute. Customers, not only residential customers, but also the hospitals that were mentioned. And I do have those other findings. I've already taken that other off, Mr. Mayor, so it doesn't have to be part of this action.
Okay, so we're just removing 10.
And you're approving 8 with the findings that I made previously about that the customary bid process will cause delay in guaranteed health, safety, and welfare decisions, et cetera.
Okay. Charles?
Sir,
Good?
I'm good.
I have a motion by Alderman Benson and a second by Alderman Copeland.
Matthew, you got anything else to add to this?
Unless there's any questions, Mayor.
All right.
Thank you, Board.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Got a motion second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Keep up the good work. All right, under Parks and Rec, Dawn did call and ask if I wanted her to come in, so I'll just read these. And we'll go from there. Got 5 items under Parks and Rec. Request permission to hire Kate Bradshaw and Jacob McCall as seasonal laborers effective February 17, 2021, and set rate pursuant to the memo. Request permission to purchase park and equipment from LADS under state contract vendor in the amount of $191,687.66. Board, that's sending back lease equipment and starting over with new is what that is. Item 3, consideration to approve Weeks Land Management as the lowest and best quote received for the 2020 cutting service of right-of-way, detention ponds, medians, and cemeteries in an amount of $45,440, and authorize the mayor to execute the same. Yes, sir. Well, I was just reading 2020. It is 2021. Thank you. You got that, Miss Amy? We miss things from time to time. Appreciate it. That's why we read these. All right, number 4, rescind board action taken on February 1st, 2021, item 9.5 regarding the purchase and installation of carpet at City Hall. And number 5, consideration to approve the purchase of carpet for the Civic Center, Music and Buchanan Room, Senior Center, Event Services, and IT offices from Flowwood Flooring and Design, and the lowest and best quote received in the amount of $37,114.80, and amend the budget accordingly and authorize payment of the same. All right. Pardon me? Yes, they went around and said, we got coffee stains over here, and we've got this in the those training rooms that we have. Right, so they went ahead back and just updated everything while we're doing it, so.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Joel, sir, are we doing like the Highway 18 in-house now?
Yes.
Didn't we buy tractors for that?
Yes.
Okay, so, this is like Highway 80.
The bush hog.
Yes. This right here is for like Highway 80.
Mowing with lawnmowers is what he's asking, Charlie.
That's not bush hogging, it's strictly mowing. The Parks took that over, so they were doing part of that in-house and part of it was outsourced.
And my question is, I saw where there were 16 cuttings like for the cemetery. When do they start, when do they finish, or what's that schedule? How often is that?
It's every 10 days, is the way we had it set up. Now, they did that a little bit differently last year, because other parks supplemented some of the cutting that was paid for as needed during the growing season. It's a little different every year. Some years you have to start in March, other years you stretch it out close to the end of March, first of April. But essentially, you'll start cutting in March, and it'll go all the way through.
10-day rotation with the cemetery.
Yes, unless they have changed that, because they did take that over last year, so they may have adjusted their contract.
Like Parks and Rec?
Yes. Yeah, Parks and Rec.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, they took that over in 2020, but when they took it over, that's the way we did it. It was on a 10-day cutting rotation. So it was not every week. It would rotate through.
A lot of which is weather dependent on rain.
That's right.
Drought.
They did supplement that last year, though. So there were times during the heavy growing season where they were also doing some cutting to maintain. Sir?
I don't know why I was asking.
No, that's fine.
Ask him
I know
more.
most of it.
Put him
I
on the
just
spot.
didn't want to state something incorrectly that they may have changed.
All right, 5 items for Parks and Rec. Is there a motion to approve those? Motion by Ms. Monica Corley. Second by Mr. Harry Williams. Any further discussion or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you.
Mayor, we're going to be striking item 1 until for a
So noted.
future date.
Remove item 1, you're taking 2 and 3.
All right, item 2, request permission for Sergeant Bradley Turner to travel to Biloxi, Mississippi on March 28th to March 30th, 2021, to attend the Exploring the Sexual Offender and Violent Offender class. Item 3, request permission to purchase and install 4 in-car video cameras from TCS Ware, a sole source vendor, in the amount of $20,160, and authorize payment from the Drug Seizure Fund. Those will go in the 4 cars you see in the front of PD.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion to approve those 2 items? Motion by Mr. Lou Coker. Second by Mr. Chris Benson. Any further discussion or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Chief. Board, I have 1 item to read in under the mayor. The governor established an emergency declaration because of the storm going on. And we executed this yesterday, but Mr. Baker wants to read it into the minutes and turn it into an agenda item. So if under an emergency declaration, the state should be able to get some funding from the federal government, this would allow us access to that to recoup things. Charles, how much was that order for salt you put in today? So we're out of salt, and we just get some more. There's going to be some more weather, so it's that type of thing. So we may be able to recoup some of that. Mr. Baker, you want to say anything?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on February the 14th, the acting governor of the state of Mississippi, Delbert Hosemann, signed a proclamation declaring the entry of an executive order effective that day with regard to the severe winter weather, including freezing rain beginning on February 13, 2021. I'd ask that that proclamation and executive order be spread on the minutes. That's Executive Order 1545. I would also, Mr. Mayor, in conjunction with that, it's my understanding on the 15th day of February, you signed a proclamation declaring a local emergency consistent with that declaration. We'd ask that both of those be spread on the minutes. The acting governor's declaration is the executive order is effective through February 21st, 2021. And so at the next board meeting, if that order has not been extended, we'll just declare the proclamation to have terminated at that time.
All right, board, so this is how we pay 2 shifts, work at the same time, and stay prepared and stay safe on our roads and highways, and need a vote on that, so.
Just need a motion to spread
Motion.
both of them.
Striking on, okay. Motion by Ms. Talia Dobbs, second by Ms. Monica Corley. Any further comment or question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. All opposed, like sign. Board, I'm striking the necessity of executive session at this time, and we will seek a motion to adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is March 1 in this room at 6 p.m. I do anticipate we will have a work session at 5:30. I have 2 items right now to address then, so anticipate that. And I have no further business. So is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Ms. Monica Corley, second by Mr. Lou Coker. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, folks. Please be safe. God bless. Go slow, less than 20 miles an hour, and don't be cutting any donuts in any parking lots.
Amy, who did you get on the
Shelley, we done?
spreading on the minutes? I have Dobbs, and I didn't get the second.